It starts with
Hi there! Huyo! My name is Chris. So, today I'll be talking about physical self. So, first, what is physical self? Physical self refers obviously to the body. This is the part of us that can be seen and observed by everyone. And we know that all of us have their own unique physical appearances or different characteristics. Different hair colors rather, skin tones, body figures, height, weight, etc. All of us experience physical changes, especially when our body starts to mature. And this process called puberty. Adolescence is divided into three periods. First, early adolescence. From it ranges from 11 to 14 years old. And middle adolescence ranges from 15 to 17 years old. And lastly, we have late adolescence, ranges from 18 to 21 years old. Adolescence is the period between the start of the body of the puberty and the beginning of adulthood. While puberty refers to the physical changes, adolescence refers to the transition between childhood to adulthood. With these changes happening, some teens feels like it's out of their control. This can be affect their body images and self-esteem. Body image. So body image, this is how you picture yourself in your mind. And self-esteem, it refers a person's overall sense of self-worth. So there's a lot of factors that can affect your perception of your physical self. First, personal factors. Second, social factors. And third one, culture. So, a person's view of their physical selves can be affected by how they view their self-worth or self-esteem. So, what the society says about them and the way that the culture they grow up in to shape them to be. Here in the Philippines, the people's concept of beauty also affects a person's view of their physical selves. One needs to have is tall nose, petite figure, fair skin, just to be called beautiful. Also, having Eurocentric features or mixed Filipino and foreign blood also become a default attractive standard in the country. But no matter what the standard of beauty is or what are the other people say, you should always be proud of what you look like because everyone has their own unique beauty. You should always have a positive body image and have healthy self-esteem. And hope that I am able to share some knowledge. What shapes the body image? So again, body image is how you picture yourself in your mind. Body image concerns are expressed in many forms. the people in one's environment have a strong influence on one's body image, which affects one's view of oneself. In some instances, individuals receive both positive and negative feedback about their bodies from family and friends. So, possible effects of negative feedbacks. First, they will compare you with others and feel inadequate when doing so. Now, 2, feel ashamed and or embarrassed. Third, lack of confidence. Fourth, feel uncomfortable or awkward in their body. Last, see parts of their body such as their nose in a distorted way. And last, we have possible effects of positive feedbacks. Accepting and appreciating the whole one's body, including how it looks and what it can do. Having a broad concept of beauty. Having a body image that is stable. Having inner positivity. The activities can set an example of what it means to be fit. For example, these physical activities, which in turn influences how individuals may want their body to be and the actions to take to achieve it. And according to Stonger 2011, social forces are also heavily influence how one views oneself. Yes, I agree with this. Determining beauty in the context of body image. We have 3 components of this, which are cognitive, behavioral, and affective. Cognitive component includes conscious intellectual activities such as thinking, reasoning, and remembering that provide knowledge to the body. The way you think about your body is your cognitive body image. When a person is dissatisfied with the way they look, they may employ destructive behaviors such as excessive exercising or disordered eating as means to change their appearance. Behavioral component includes actions that conceptualize what the individual thinks is society's perception of the body should be. The behaviors you engage is as a result of your body image are your behavioral body image. When a person is dissatisfied with the way they look, they may isolate themselves because they feel bad about their appearance and employ destructive behaviors as means also to change their appearance. And we have affective component includes that individuals' feelings, emotions, and attitudes of the body. The way you feel about your body is your affective body image. Feelings may include happiness or disgust, but are often summarized as the amount of satisfaction or dissatisfaction you feel about your shape, weight, and individual body parts. Body dissatisfaction. Body dissatisfaction occurs when a person has persistent negative thoughts and feelings about their body Also, body dissatisfaction is an internal, emotional, and cognitive process, but it is influenced by external factors such as pressure to meet a certain appearance ideal. And according to research, usually white women are dissatisfied with their bodies. However, but the recent findings suggest that women from ethnic groups are increasingly experiencing body dissatisfaction. For example, during school years, when children interact with their peers, they tend to engage in comparisons among other peers, which becomes their dominating reference of an individual's evaluation of oneself. In comparison, according to Arnett 2007, the difference between body image and body dissatisfaction is that the former is a concept that lasts a lifetime, while the latter may only be of concern upon adulthood. During adulthood, the individual develops themselves through undergoing instability, self-focus, exploration of identity according.
Next is
Cultural factor impacting body dissatisfaction. The following are the cultural factors that influence body dissatisfaction. Ethical identity. This is one sense of belongingness and attachment to their ethnic groups. It includes dedication, commitment, and participation in the group. Next is the acculturation. This is the maintenance of cultural processes and the contact participation of members of the two cultures. For this to occur, two cultures must be present, a negative culture in contact with a more dominant culture. Higher acculturation happens when the native culture has low maintenance and there is a great amount of contact participation of dominant culture. So, the environment strongly influences a person's body image. For instance, the person can get both positive, negative message about his or her body from family and friends. The perception of others can in turn affect the body's self-esteem. Cultivating Next is the cultivating a healthy body image. A healthy body image creates a good self-esteem. Self-esteem is the classification and self-assurance of a person has towards the self. However, some people have a need to acquire a perfect body image, which may lead to unhealthy and risky activities. As mentioned above, how one view one body image may, in one way or another, differ with how others evaluate one physical being. Here are some ways to cultivate a healthy body. Educate yourself, highlight positive goals, limit exposure to media, watch what you say. So, educate yourself. To achieve your ideal body image is important. You should learn about body fat level and body mass index so that you can determine the appropriate program or exercise regimen. Also, you must have proper nutrition, enough sleep, and adhere to stress management activity. Next is the highlight positive goals. These are what you want to achieve rather than what your person want. For instance, You should not exercise because you hate your body and you want to change it. Rather, you should exercise because you love your body and you want to keep it healthy. Next is limit exposure to media. Most of the time, media portrayals are reserving the media conveys a certain image that sometimes makes one disfeel with one own body. It is important then that you limit the use of media. Watch what you say. What you say about yourself eventually affect your attitude, perception, limit negative description, and highlight positive things about yourself. There are certain parts of your body that may not be the same as everyone else. Thus, you may accept the balance all aspect of yourself. Self. What is important is that you learn to participate, accept, and love those differences. Right? Conclusion. Understanding your body image deals with physiological thought and emotion. Whatever society tells about your body image, it is easy to accept. Even the comments are negative because you have already mastered the body image struggle. Acceptance of yourself is the key to improve your body image. What other people says does not matter as long as you have your own participation of what the perfect body image is. You should always keep a positive feelings because you entire thinking body you entire thinking process change for the better, and what other might say about you will eventually not matter anymore. What is significant is not how people see the physical aspect but how you identify yourself. So
Next is understanding the human sexual response.
Understanding the human sexual response. The four stages of the human sexual response cycle as defined by Masters and Johnsons in 1966 are: first is the excitement, the second is the pleasure, the third is the orgasm, and the fourth is the resolution. Both men and women are experiencing this phase, although timing usually hits different. For example, it is unlikely that both partners will reach orgasm at the same time. Phase 1 is the desire. General characteristics of this phase, which can last from a few minutes to several hours, and may include any of the following: muscle tension increases, heart rate quickens and breathing gets faster, skin may become flushed, and any other. Phase 2 is the arousal. General characteristics of this phase, which extends to the brink of orgasm, include the following: the changes began in the first phase get more intense. The vagina continues to swell from increased blood flow, and the vagina walls turn a darker color and inner. The phase 3 is the orgasm. This phase is the climax of the sexual response cycle. It's the shortest of the phase and generally lasts only a few seconds. Characteristics of this phase include the following: involuntary muscle contractions begin. Blood pressure, heart rate, and breathing are at the highest rates with a rapid intake of oxygen and any. Phase 4 is the last phase is the resolution. During this phase, the body slowly returns to its normal level of functioning, and swelled and erect body parts return to the previous size and color. This phase is marked by a general sense of well-being and often fatigue. Some women are capable of a rapid return to the orgasm phase with further sexual stimulation and may experience multiple orgasms. Men typically need recovery time after orgasm called refractory period, during which they cannot reach orgasm again. The duration of the refractory period varies among individuals and changes with age. Next is the basic biology of sexual behavior. In humans, biological sex is determined by five factors present at birth. First is the chromosomes, gonads, hormones, internal reproductive anatomy, and external genitalia. Sex is typically divided into male, female, or intersex. Some combination of both male and female sex characteristics due to the existence of multiple forms of intersex conditions, which are more prevalent than researchers once thought. Many view sex as existing along a spectrum rather than simply two mutually exclusive categories. Intersex infants with ambiguous outer genitalia are often surgically corrected to more easily fit into a socially accepted sex category. Human rights defenders argue that this is an oppressive practice on par with genital mutilation. Key terms intersex, a variation in biological sex characteristics, including chromosomes, gonads, or genitals that do not allow an individual to be distinctly identified as male or female sex. The distinguishing biological properties by which organisms are classified as female, male, or intersex.
So next is the sexual self. So what is the sexual self? Your body image influences how you see and feel about yourself. Consequently, how you perceive your body and how you feel about yourself physically influence your perceptions about your sexual orientation. This perception, which includes your sexual desires, is known as your sexual self-concept. It stems from your past experiences and manifests in your present experience, affects your process information related to your sexuality, and directs how you behave sexually. Self-esteem, therefore, may influence your overall health, and your sexual concept may influence your sexual behaviors and your health. Adolescents are more familiar with sexuality. They are eager to know about the different phases of sexual development, but they are afraid to ask the right person. Some informations about sexuality, such as chemistry of lust, love and attachment, is hard for them to comprehend. Often, information from others confuses them. It may encourage them to explore risky behaviors, which may lead to the misinterpretation and action. Awareness is the key of understanding this section. It is normal for every individual to experience development in certain aspects of self, especially the sexual self. So next is sexuality. So in your own opinion, what is sexuality? Sexuality is the word used to define a person's preferences and sexual interests. By the time the person reaches adolescence, his or her sexuality is molded, though he or she may come to recognize and accept it a few years later. For some individuals, sexuality stays similar all throughout their lives, but for others, it might changes as they get older. The manner by which people express themselves depends on whether they are comfortable with their gender and sexuality. Women who are satisfied with their bodies are able to express themselves better in terms of their sexuality, while men who have a disturbed body image may have a problematic social and sexual functioning in their middle ages, and both men and women show symptoms of depressions and anxiety. Expressing sexuality, however, varies in each individual. It is a complex, especially when societal norms are taken into consideration. Individuals have their own perceptions of how they express themselves sexually in terms of gender orientation and gender identity. Sexual orientation describes how they feel and how they know what it is like to be who they are. Gender identity, on the other hand, refers to the person's identifications with a specific gender, rather than his or her attractions to people. A person being male or female is largely based on his or her association with a feminine or a masculine sexual rules. This means that the gender identity is not about who a person is attracted to, but it is his or her conceived sexual rule. It is very clear that the distinguished points of sexual orientation and gender identity vary to some extent, in which sexual orientation refers evidently as to who wants to be with, while gender identity is who on. Also, there are psychological perspectives on sexuality. The theories that follows have made contributions in understanding sexuality. First is Freud's psychoanalytical theory, states that sex is the one of the key forces in human life. Sex drives or sex energy, termed as the libido, is one of the two major motivations of human behavior, the other being the death instincts and thanatos. Second is the learning theory, states that human sexual behavior is not only biological nature, because actions can be learned. Operates through classical conditioning, operant conditioning, behavior modification, and social learning. Classical conditioning happens when a neutral stimulus is repeatedly paired with an unconditioned stimulus, generating an unconditioned response. Operant conditioning is the process by which the frequency of behavior is determined by the rewards of punishments. Behavior modification utilizes operant conditioning techniques to modify human behavior. Social learning is the process of sexual behavior. And third is the cognitive theories, focus on the way people think and perceive things. The basic assumption is that what people think influences what they feel, because perceptions, labeling, and evaluating events are crucial. According to an Institute for Sex Research of Indiana University in 1953, human sexuality is hardly falls into a simple classification. Rather, it is a complex of rich area of human experiences. It does not matter if people know what they like and stick with it, or if they like to experiment. Sexuality gives complex aspects of self. As a complex of human sexuality is, it is influenced by the behavior of a person sexually. The human sexual behavior is any activity that induces sexual arousal in the individual. It is determined by the inherited sexual response pattern that ensure reproduction, and by the amount of influence that society allows the individual express his or her sexuality.
Two topics of physical and sexual self, specifically the diversity of sexual behavior through homosexuality and other sexual orientations. So, sexual orientations determines that we are sexually attracted. Homosexuals are sexually attracted to members of their own gender, while bisexuals are attracted to both genders. Gays are male homosexuals, while lesbians are female homosexuals. For those people who consider themselves as homosexuals, belong to the LGBTQIA+ community. The identity of homosexual develops in 6 stages. So we have 6 stages in identity of homosexuals. So the first one is identity confusion. So questioning their sense of self. The second one is identity comparison, a feeling of being out of place or different. So the third one is identity tolerance. It is not treated well with total acceptance. So the fourth one is identity acceptance, opposite from the third one. The fifth one is identity pride. And the sixth one is the identity synthesis. It is an aspect of self. So there are 4 dimensions of sexual orientation, namely 1. Social behavior. Number 2. Sexual behavior. Number 3. Effective romantic attraction. Number 4. Sexual physical attraction. So it is important that an individual is aware of the kinds of sexual behavior and their effects before engaging in different sexual activities. So it is very important to know and have the knowledge before engaging in sexual activities, because you don't know what will happen if you will follow your sexual pleasure or the short time of pleasure. So our second topic is sexually transmitted diseases or STDs. Sexually transmitted diseases or STDs can ruin one's health and they may be untreatable. First disease is chlamydia. It will damage the genital genes caused by the bacterium. They occur 7 to 14 days after infection. So the second one is human papilloma virus. This virus causes genital warts in both male and female sex organ. They appear 2 to 3 months after intercourse. The third one is genital herpes. There are some cases that individuals who have it have partners who do not. So it is different from other disease because there are partners who don't have this disease. This disease is mostly likely happen to one person. So the fourth one is the most popular disease that we encounter, HIV infection or AIDS. The HIV or human immunodeficiency virus causes AIDS, a disease that destroys the body's immune system. This is the most common disease when it comes to sex. It can be transmitted through sexual intercourse, blood, needle, and also the infant. So the fifth one is gonorrhea. This is STD. So it results only from a penis to vagina intercourse. So the symptoms appear within 3 to 5 days after infection. So the sixth one is syphilis, also called the great fox. This disease is also caused by bacterium. If it is not treated, it will damage the nervous system. So it is different from other disease because the one that will be affected is the nervous system. So the seventh disease is the viral hepatitis. The symptom of this disease is enlargement and tender liver. So it will show in the eyes. It will make it a yellowish color. It could be asymptomatic. So as far as I know, the hepatitis is not very common disease, but it is very dangerous. So the eighth one is pubic lice. These tiny lice are attached to the pubic hairs of the genital areas. So they cause itching and infection on the area. If not removed, it will reproduce. So it will reproduce itself and it will make, and the scary part, if the pubic lice will come inside of the sixth organ, so it is not that comfortable to, it should be treated and be removed. So the lesson that we learned today, we must need to have knowledge and information about sexual activities, and we need to use contraceptives before engaging in sexual activities. But the most important one, not to engage in sexual activities if you don't know the person you are going to interact with that kind of activity. So that's all for today.
Methods of contraception. So as we can see here, there are 6 types of methods contraception. So the first one is birth control pills. So these pills usually taken by the girls. This one stops the sperm from uniting with the egg. The second one is Norplant. So this one is a medicine. It says 99%, it guarantees 99% that if a woman takes this medicine, she will no longer be pregnant for 5 to 8 years. The next one is Depo-provera. Depo-provera. Unlike the Norplant, this one only guarantees 94% the woman will never be pregnant, but it should be taken 3 to 4 3 to 4 every 3 to 4 weeks. The fourth one is in intrauterine device. This one is a small device inserted in the woman's uterus to avoid pregnancy. The fifth one is condom. So this one usually, no, not usually. This one is for boys only. The last one is withdrawal method. So this withdrawal method for the boys only still. So this withdrawal method needs a lot of practice, as what Mr. Google said. Sexual responsibility. This means making informed decisions and safer sex. Being sexually responsible involves respecting your partner, having open communication in all types of sexual activities, as well as taking precautions against transmitted infections such as STIs, HIV, and many more. If you choose, just a reminder, if you choose to engage in sexual activity, remember, safe sex is not enough. You or we should try to a much safer sex. Thank you.
So there are 10 myths and facts about sex and sexual behaviors, which are: the first myth is that you cannot get pregnant in the first time you had sex. So it is possible to get pregnant anytime a person has an intercourse or vaginal sex. So dili siya tinuod nga kanang kuan. Tungod lang kay first time na yung nakig-sex kay dili na ka mabuntis. So na chance gapon nga mabuntis ka. So the second myth is that you cannot get pregnant if the guy pulls out or if you have sex standing up. So the withdrawal or pulling out method does not guarantee that a woman cannot get pregnant. So parehara sa kanang withdrawal or kanang pull out ka before you kanang magawasan or before you come, dapat daw mulihay ka anak kay nagapay chance nga mabuntis gapon ang babae if ever kanang pull out ka or dili, nagapay chances kay tungod daw sa kanang pre-cum. So the third myth is condoms are reusable. So a condom should never be used more than once under any circumstances kay you either get yourself more dirty or you can get transferable diseases like HIV or STD. Yeah, the fourth myth is that peeing or washing after sex will prevent pregnancy. So urinating after sexual intercourse does not prevent pregnancy since urine comes out of the urethra, which is a separate opening from the vagina. So lahi ra ang agyanan sa kanang urethra, ang urine kaysa urethra man. So lahi ra siya sa kanang agyanan para sa kanang padung sa kanang sperm cell or egg cell ba na sa babae pa. So fifth myth is penis size matters. So based on our research daw consistently found that sexual satisfaction is more influenced by psychological factors such as connection, intimacy, and relationship satisfaction, and not just the size and the shape of a male's genitals. So di daw nagadepende sa size or kanang di daw nagsaligtanan sa size. So mas depend ako sa imong psychological thinking or kanang the way imong mind mo create og dopamine or basta inana. Yeah, the sixth myth is that women can achieve orgasm from vaginal sex alone. So there are different erogenous zones in a person's body, and each one, when properly stimulated, can allow a person to reach orgasm. So dili lang kayo sa usara ka part sa babay daw kuno nga maka-orgasm sila, so daghan daw kuno, which is called G-spot. So the seventh myth, BB oil and petroleum jelly can be used with condoms. So oil-based lubricants and such as BB oils, petroleum jelly, and hand creams can break down the latex that makes up some of the condoms. So kung gamit kag BB oils na daw kuno chance nga maguba ang kanang katong murag plastic sa condom, so which can make a girl pregnant, or you can either get diseases like STD or HIV from through sexual intercourse. So 8th myth is that oral is safer compared to vaginal sex. So one can get infected with sexually transmitted diseases, STD, through oral sex. So like for example, when your partner is like what they call a hooker, or in English like a sugar mommy or daddy, and they have sex with you or oral sex with you, there's a chance that you can get STD or transmitted diseases through the oral sex. So the 9th myth is that you can get HIV from getting a tattoo or body piercings. You cannot get HIV from getting a tattoo or body piercing. So it is common knowledge that HIV can be transmitted through sexual contact. So pero nagaboy chance da kuno, there's a chance that you can get an HIV from the what they call tools from a tattoo. So like the tools that can be used from making tattoos can also transfer diseases like HIV if not cleaned well. So the 10th myth is that sex should be like porn. So pornography was created to males powerful fantasies. Women in pornography are used as objects for sexually gratifying a man, and they are depicted as happy for being used in that way. So layo ra daw kuno ang kanang porn or sex in real life, because ang kanang porn kay murag kuan ra na sa fantasy sa lalaki daw kuno. So dapat daw no di ka mag-base tungod lang kay naka-watch ka og porn, layo ra daw kuno siya sa kanang kuan, di ka mag-base tungod lang kay nakikita ka sa kanang mga inana porn, kay sa tinuod layo ra daw kuno ang kanang true ang porn sa real life. So that's all, thank you.
It's